I just passed my G1 today. Congratulate me. I'm pretty happy. I could start learning to drive, so I can't wait for in a couple of months when I do get my G2, I can start driving. I could drive to places. At that point, I could drive to different locations. If I want to do a photo shoot, instead of just going out in my forest like I usually do and just take same old pictures, I can take my car and just drive up to some location and just take some stunning photos there instead of taking the traditional route of the classic same location photos. So I'm pretty glad this is the first step to getting my driver's license. The test is complete. I got my G1, so now I can start practicing. I can actually go on the road, which is awesome. I'm so excited to do this. That out of the way, let's get today's video started. What's going on, guys? Max here, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about 1080p versus 4K, and pretty much why I think 1080p is still a very, very capable resolution in 2018. Okay guys, so let's just jump straight into today's video. Hoping you guys are having a great weekend so far. It is Sunday. Get ready for a brand new week. I gotta get prepared after I make this video to get ready for school. But hopefully you guys are having a great one. Hopefully you guys have had a great weekend. Spend time with your family. Always important to do that. Hopefully you guys also went out and shot some photos. Always important to do that as well. But pretty much today we're gonna be talking about 1080p versus 4K because this is a big hype. 4K is the big deal now. Everybody wants to shoot in 4K. It's like that resolution that everybody wants to shoot in. But the problem is that there are some companies like Canon that are just not releasing 4K to the public. You know, like to the budget public. Not everybody has $4,000 to spend on a 5D Mark IV that can shoot 4K and not even full frame 4K, you know? If you want to shoot full frame 4K on Canon, you have to get like that $6,000 1DX, which is just insane. It's just crazy to spend that much money for a camera. So that's why people are switching to Sony, Panasonic, because they shoot 4K at a much cheaper price. But I'm not switching to Sony or Panasonic just because of the 4K. I need to make sure that the autofocus, I need to make sure that the menu systems, the color space, the dynamic range, all of this stuff that I just love about Canon much more than the Sony and Panasonic. That's why 4K for me isn't big deal, you know. I'm fine with shooting full HD because you gotta remember, picture quality isn't everything. It's a story. You gotta make sure that the story is always king. It's always gonna be the most important thing from everything. You have to make sure you have good audio. Gotta make sure you have good looking visuals, the composition. Gotta make sure that the lighting around you, the 3 points lighting is also great around you. You gotta make sure that you storyboard and plan your actual videos. All of that's gonna make a much better video and a much better product than the 4K. And that's kind of want to give to you guys the reasons why I think 1080p is still viable is because you don't really need that crazy resolution. But before we just disregard 4K of being just not necessary, I kind of wanted to tell you guys some of the benefits of having 4K. So if you guys want 4K, here are some of the benefits that you will get from using 4K. So there are two biggest reasons that I enjoy from 4K. One of them is the fact that you can crop the image. Cropping the image is great because sometimes, for instance, especially if you're doing handheld B-roll, the edges of your image is usually jittery. So sometimes if you use a warp stabilizer or if you just want to crop the image, you can crop the image and still know that you're not losing literally any resolution. You're still a very, very sharp image no matter what. Or if you're just doing these regular videos and you just want to crop in just to give a little bit of a different angle, because a lot of times, even with this one angle camera, I can get two angles from it, from just having the normal traditional angle right now, but also this more zoomed in angle closer to my face, giving it a little bit of a different angle look and a different approach to it, which is always cool. And that's kind of the benefit of having 4K, because you can crop in with the image and it still looks very, very sharp, a lot of detail in the image, and that's kind of the reason why people love shooting in 4K. And the second reason that 4K is amazing is because that if you shoot in 4K, you can always downsample it to 1080p. So if you're publishing on YouTube or if you're giving a video to a client, even though a client doesn't want 4K, they're fine with 1080p footage. Instead of using that 4K space, because 4K takes a lot of space, you could save that space by just shooting in 4K, but then as soon as you bring it into the editing software, just downsample it to full HD, and you can get a much higher, much sharper looking 1080p full HD image instead of having that large 4K file. And that's kind of one of the biggest reasons why I like 4K, is the fact that I can downsample and get a much higher quality full HD image. But those are kind of the two things I love about 4K, and that's kind of the reason why 4K is a great thing, obviously, other than the typical sharper, more details, better colors and all of that stuff, and just looks better, you know, like instead of those typical things, those are kind of the two reasons why I think 4K is much better than 1080p. 1080p is still very powerful. Like, a lot of people still post in full HD. Like I said, people downsample 4K to full HD because full HD is still dominating. It's still the standard when it comes to YouTube videos. There's a small percentage of people that watch videos in 4K. Not too many people get the full resolution out of it, so that's why people don't put it at full resolution. There's no point of publishing in 4K because you're just not going to be getting that full resolution feel. So what's the point of wasting that extra space on your hard drive when you could shoot at 1080p instead, or just downsample to 1080p. So that's why people like me who shoot in full HD, it's kind of still okay for us to shoot in 1080p and know that we're still fine, because the majority of people watch in 1080p and the majority of people publish in full HD. So full HD is still very powerful, still popular, still important, and still going to be amazing, and probably still going to dominate YouTube and a lot of the video space for probably another couple of years, I think so. That's it for today's video. If you guys haven't checked out my Instagram, check it out down in the description. I post every other day, photos every other day. I post portraits, landscapes, travel style portraits, travel style landscapes. I just post different things. I'm just trying to get a feel for it, trying to build up my audience, my influence on Instagram, trying to stay consistent, keeping that aesthetic, photo aesthetic consistent. So if you guys want to check out my Instagram, down in the description, I do a lot of content on there, as well as click the subscribe button on this channel. I publish 2 videos per week, sometimes 3 if I do get the opportunity to. A lot of awesome things coming up on your way. Stay tuned for next week. We're starting off next week with a vlog, so that vlog should be pretty fun. I'm not exactly sure what's going to be happening with it, but I'm going to talk a little bit more briefly about the G1 license that I just got, and just more about it, car modifications that I'm going to be doing, and all of that stuff in that video. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to go out, shoot photos, enjoy the process, do all of that. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time, and peace out.